In collaboration with the University of Rio Grande Community College, and the Ohio State University South Centers, we proudly present a series of different broadcast TV and radio shows that highlight different aspects of small businesses. Our co-hosts include Ryan Mapes, Endeavor Center Manager and Program Leader with the Ohio State University South Centers, Mike Thompson, Director of the Instructional Design and Media Services at the University of Rio Grande, and Brad Bapst, Small Business Development Center Director with the Ohio State University South Centers. Small business owners and guests discuss information that is strictly business.
Hello everyone, this is Strictly Business. Thanks for watching. Again, we only have one guy behind all of the scenes. Pat, he's doing double or triple duty back here. So if there's any sluggishness or something.
Little glitches.
Yeah, blame
little
it on
gremlins.
him.
Yeah.
Well, this is Strictly Business, where we strictly talk about business. And a part of everyone's business is, it's probably a business, is you're probably communicating and selling a service or a product or something to someone.
Yeah, very, very important part of business, Mike. You can be the most productive person in the world and make millions of excellent gadgets that everybody needs, but if you can't sell them to someone and you don't do a good job building and maintaining those relationships with your customers, you're not going to be successful. Right. So it's the final piece to being a successful business.
And I think what you one key word that you had there was relationships. And sales
Absolutely.
is mostly about building relationships.
Yep, 100% about building relationships.
Right, and you just can't, sell a product to someone and take their money and then treat them poorly. Then they will tell everyone else, and you won't get them coming back for the next time or anything else. So you have to keep that relationship. And I've been in several situations where the relationship is really the basis of why I go to a business. I have some motorcycles, and I appreciate it whenever I go into the dealership, and it's like, hey, Mike, how's the Triumph Rocket doing?
That's right. That's very key for a lot of people. And when sometimes those people that you have the relationship leaves, your relationship with that business parts as well.
Right. So who do we have here today to talk about sales?
Well, today we have Dominick McAllister, and he is with the NOURSE Auto Group in Chillicothe, Ohio. So we'd love to welcome Dominick to the show today.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm from Columbus originally, but I went to Rio Grande. I had business administration degree and also got my MBA from Rio Grande. Played baseball here, coached here, had a great time, becoming an adult here, and now I work in Chillicothe. I'm a Ford sales manager there, and kind of going through the process of growing up and getting a real job and building a business, through sales and everything that's involved with sales.
So, just curious, why did you pick Rio Grande? And you picked it twice.
Yeah.
For your 4-year and your master's.
Yeah. I like to tell people I get the best of both worlds when I went to Rio because being from Columbus, I get the city life, there with my family, and then being in Rio, I get the personal experience, the people that you see, at school and in town, and it's just a wonderful place, and I was always felt at home here, and I still live here as well. So,
do you think any of those sales concepts were modeled here at all? Is that what kept you coming back, or?
Yeah, it just like we were talking about earlier, it's a relationship. So, obviously felt comfortable here. My professors, which Mr. Winters is here, and actually Pat was instrumental, and I had relationships with them beyond, getting a grade from them, and that's why I talked to Pat about this opportunity to come on his show and help him out, because to me he's more than a professor or an employee here. I have that relationship with him, so sales isn't just a product. Everybody's a salesperson, whether you're a teacher selling your idea to your students, or whether you're doing a service for somebody. Sales is involved in everything.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. So there are a lot of parallels to being maybe a salesman as a profession, but it just goes throughout your life, and no matter what you do, it really carries out.
Yeah, I feel like some people think sales has got a negative connotation, because everyone has that image in their mind of a sleazy salesman,
take my money,
trying to take your money, all that kind of stuff. That's a normal perception to have, but and the connotation that word has is bad, but it's so much more
especially
than that.
true with car sales. Right?
Yes.
And there's nothing, and then probably behind that's the door-to-door sweeper salesman or something like that, with the high pressure and.
Yeah, it's one of the most difficult things I go through on a daily basis. Is every day when I walk out to talk to somebody or I talk to a customer, I'm overcoming that stereotype of what a salesperson is, and they don't know you as a person yet, but that's your goal, is to build that relationship and progress through that.
Yeah. Well, the guy I bought a car from in Columbus, I ended up doing his wedding as far as videography. So yeah, we built a relationship there.
Absolutely, yeah, and I'm sure you will get in contact with him next time you're in the market for a vehicle too. So he obviously did a good job for you, and he built that relationship quickly, and that's one of the things we have to do. We get usually one shot at a customer, because obviously competitive market, and it's definitely
the way the roads are. You can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. You're talking about building relationships with the customer, and I've purchased a lot of different vehicles over my life, and I've worked with a lot of different salespeople over my life, and I've noticed that each of them kind of do things differently, as far as maybe follow up after the sale, or follow up maybe a year after the sale, or maybe even no follow up after the sale. So are there some things that you see that are important in your position that you do kind of on a regular basis to kind of maintain and build those customer relationships that you have with the company there in Chillicothe?
Yeah, I would definitely say follow-up is what's going to set you apart from just being the guy that took the person's check or got the signature from them. That's one area that I try to excel in, and it's not just, hey, a call every now and then, or every 6 months. You really have to provide a service to the customer as far as scheduling appointments, questions about the vehicle that come up, and you have to know them as more than just that transaction. And that's really the only way you can be successful in the business long term. You can there's always people that are going to be in it for the short term, the now, make a sale. But I'm getting to the point in my younger career that I'm having those repeats, referrals, and those relationships are benefiting me now, because you can't always rely on who shows up that day to feed your family and to pay your bills and things like that. So.
And besides the relationship, where they might recognize you the next time they pass by or see you in the store or whatever, I think it's part of the small things. If you leave the lot, I hope you fill up the car. It's washed, it's cleaned, and all these things are ready for you to just take it out. When I bought a motorcycle once, which the dealer is no longer in business, I didn't make it a mile and a half before I ran out of gas.
Oh no! In a motorcycle.
I was pushing my brand new motorcycle, which wasn't small, down the road to get some gas.
Wow.
And I thought, that is not cool.
Yeah.
It's cheaper to fill up a motorcycle than it is a car.
Yeah. It's not going to be a lot out of their pocket. It was, about $14,000, and you couldn't put some gas in it, But you can see that's a story that I still tell.
That's right.
And, if you don't, it only takes a couple bad things to get around and could ruin you.
Right.
Because that dealership is not there. And all they cared about was just getting you out the door.
Yeah, that's one thing that we emphasize as far as, do you want to be a number to a dealership or
Right.
to a company, or do you want to build a relationship with them? There's a lot of little things you can do. I mean, we always fill up the tank of gas. We always call the customer the next day, but it's funny how one little thing that you don't remember the rest of that experience very much, but you remember the very end or the bad thing. And it's just like people talk about, if you're trying to build a small business, it starts one customer at a time and growing from there and getting that one lifetime customer that's going to bring their friends in and their family and talk about the good experience, because if one little thing goes bad, they're definitely going to tell more people about that bad experience than the good one they had. So.
Right. And the unfortunate thing with that as a business owner is very rarely will you ever hear what those bad things are. Yep. They never tell you as the business. They tell other people. So you sometimes as a business owner don't even know what you're doing wrong, and you can't fix the problem because you don't even know that there's a
Right.
problem in the first place.
Now, there are, every time I go into some of these dealerships, they will send me a survey, and I can give them feedback there.
Right.
So I don't know if you do that
Yeah,
also.
I mean, all manufacturers do that, and that's one way to track it.
And even on your service side?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I mean, with the new manufacturers, we have that. One, word that I would say that you could use is, if you were going into sales or you're doing direct sales or anything like that, is examine what your intention is when you meet somebody. If your intention is really to help them, to really educate them on your product, really provide them with a service that helps them, usually, actually, I would say 95% of the time the customer can feel what your true intention is, and it's something subliminal, something that you can't really quantify, but I found that when your heart's in a good place and your intention's in a good place, the customer feels that and may not say it initially, but those are the customers that you keep. And if you can try to grasp that concept, if you're going into a career like that, start there, and then good things will happen from there.
Yeah, and I think another important thing to sales is listening to your customers. What are they actually needing? You might want to sell that car that hasn't moved off the lot for 3 months, but that's not the one I want.
Right.
And listen to their needs and then design the car around that, whether they want the small car or the truck or four-door. Or
Absolutely, I agree with that too. One of the things that changed or helped me progress is when I met a person, I would always, I learned that, just calm yourself, stop talking, look the person in the eye, and just, stop typing on the computer, don't answer the phone, just listen to what the person's saying. Because ultimately, when you're going to buy something, you have a problem that needs solved, or you need help. If you didn't, people who don't need help buying things, click it on the computer and have it there the next day, and they have no problem with that. But obviously, listening is a very important part of gaining that trust with somebody, and also, ultimately helping them to the maximum you can help them. Because if you, like I said, selling somebody something that doesn't help them or only benefits you is not the way to grow a business.
Right. And say, get to know them and interview them. And, if it's a younger couple, it's like they were wanting to buy a 2-door car. It's like, hey, you plan on having kids?
Yeah.
Do you want the 4-door? Or do you want to get in the back like that? Just anticipate some things.
Yeah, I mean, we run into that often, a young couple that may be pregnant or, just starting out in the world, but, you can ask them if they have intentions of having children. And, one time I like to tell people, it's better to, maybe pay a little more and get that 4-door and make the right decision and work into it and manage your budget around that, rather than make the mistake of having a little bit lower payment now, but then eventually
you're going to have to trade it in.
It costs you thousands of dollars. Everyone knows I'm not here to tell anyone that when you buy a car and drive it off the lot, you don't lose some value and some
Right.
depreciation.
After it's titled, $3,000.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's a fact. That's any brand. I mean, there's nothing you're going to do to prevent that. So,
Right.
That's why with the internet, it's so much nicer. The business has changed so much that customers are very educated with
That's what I was going to ask you. How has the internet changed And do they just come in and lay a number down and that's it and you're done?
Well, you know,
Because there's lots of different services out there, and then the other one that checks the crash history and all that sort of thing.
yeah, the business is changing a lot. I've only been in it for about 2.5 years, so you know it's hard for me to judge. You know, back
What
in
it was
the
like
day.
before the information.
But I've
Right.
seen
Yeah.
it change a lot in the time I've been here, and yes, customers, you know, everyone knows, you know, roughly what their trade's worth. Everyone, you know, has probably seen an internet price, and you know, you can know just about everything about the vehicle except for how it drives just by getting online, and you know that changes things. But that's kind of what makes the salesperson more important, because, and especially in new cars, they can get the car anywhere. They can find it on the internet. They can go anywhere. A lot of times it comes down to who do you want to buy from, and who
Right.
do you think's who's gonna take care of you, or do you have that relationship? You know, anyone can go get a new Ford Focus at 10 different dealerships. It's just who did they run into somebody that they trust, that had their best intentions for them, and that they built a relationship with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, one of the things that, you know, we see, Dominic, with the small business development centers is, you know, we kind of pride ourselves in helping the businesses around Southern Ohio do better. And one thing that I hear a lot, you know, just out in the world is, you know, people always think that they can go to Columbus and buy something cheaper than they can here in Southern Ohio.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe that's true, maybe that's not true. I mean, do you have a lot of, I'm sure you get a lot of customers that come to see you and then they say, well, we're going to go to Columbus and
Go to the big
when
dealership.
we go to the
that's-
big dealership, I can save, you know, $100 or something like that. And of course,
Yeah.
I'm wasting a day going to Columbus, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that happens a lot, and it's definitely a perception. Honestly, you know, unless you've been in the business, the overall deal, you know, probably don't really know what the best deal is. You're just going off of, you know, what you perceive as the best deal. We all pay the same for the vehicles. Going to Columbus or wherever the larger city, typically, like I said, your time's valuable to you, of course, or maybe it's not. But that you know, spending that time that day, they know when you show up there that you're there to buy a car. So it doesn't give you any advantage when they know you've driven 2 hours to look at this truck and you're qualified to buy it. You know, they're also obviously going to give you a deal, but it's not anything different that you could get locally. And even if it's a couple $100 difference over a 72-month term, I mean, if you're thinking about the effect that kind of purchase can make on your economy as far as service in the future and you know, friends and family, I mean, it's a huge impact, huge purchase, second biggest purchase of most people's lives. You know, staying local can change your entire outlook and put thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars back into your community that you know, you're pouring into somebody else's pocket, you know, 200 miles away. So
Right.
it's just a perception thing, and it's tough to overcome for us every day. But you know, that's where the relationship comes in. Is if we can build that relationship, we keep them, you know, with us.
What if you don't have the blue car that I wanted?
Well, the good thing is we can get just about any car via dealer trades.
Okay. Does that cost any more to flip those vehicles around?
No, we wouldn't charge another customer for that. You know, it's more of a now. You took a day off. You got to buy it today. Everyone's in a rush. So, you know, if we don't have the car on the lot, not too many people want to wait a day or two. So they might continue to the next dealership to find the one they want. But all comes back to relationship. If you can build that relationship, you know, they want to buy from you, they trust you, and
They'll cut you a little bit of slack.
Exactly, they'll give you the day or two to get what they want in stock. So.
Right. Well, and I've found too, you know, different dealerships that I've worked with in the past, and you know, if you build that relationship with them, and if you have, you know, a maintenance issue with your car, you know, you're going to get a lot better service if you have a good relationship with that dealer as well,
Right.
too, rather than, you know, you have a problem, and, well, take it back to Columbus. Well, there's
Yeah.
another day, you know, or
Yeah, that's
so
what
that's
I mean.
another key of doing business locally.
When you're gonna have a car for 6-7 years, maybe longer, I mean, you can't replace what's that's worth. Everyone has a horror story of going to a dealership where they ran into the wrong person, or you know, they didn't care about them how they want. So, you know,
Yeah, it might be wrong, but you know, I appreciate the dealers when my car gets serviced. For them to get me and I can look under the car and see the stuff myself. I know there's some have problems with the rules or whatever of you going into the service area, but that's one of the things that really kind of like makes a difference for me.
It does.
I'm part mechanic myself, and if you can explain it to me, I can see the parts, and then I'll be your friend.
Right. Well, and there's a trust issue there too.
Right.
And that's a big part of it. So, absolutely.
So getting into the business, what would you, I don't know, do you think salespeople are born, or can it be learned?
Well, actually, I mean, I think there's some people have a little bit more, skill born, just the ability to talk to people, confidence, things like that. But I relate it, the reason why I've been successful in it and how much I relate it to sports. And it's really an acquired skill that you can master just like practicing. I'm over 6 different salespeople that I manage on a daily basis, and one thing we do is we train every day about the product knowledge and objections that a customer may have and things like that. And it is a skill that you can hone in order to make a successful career out of it. And like I said, some people are a little bit more natural than others, but it's just like going to the batting cage or shooting hoops. You got to take, this is your life now, just like a professional player, baseball player or basketball player, and that's your opportunity to get better every day. And
Right.
And I think it's definitely a skill that you acquire.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's often overlooked in sports. I mean, when we think about sports and our kids playing sports, we think about them participating and competing and winning, but really there are so many skills like leadership and communications that really are very, very important to those individuals, and they really help young kids. That's one of the big benefits of sports that a lot of people fail to see.
Yeah, I mean, communication. I mean, I feel like in our industry we use them all. Management, communication, professionalism, responsibility. I mean, that's the huge one. Sometimes I struggle with some of the salespeople as far as their responsibility of taking care of their customer after the sale, make that follow-up call, get them that CD out of their trade-in, get them to that paint chip fix that they need, whatever it is. I mean, you have to have those skills as well, and because each person in that scenario is a business themselves, So, it's definitely, there's a lot of skills that you acquire from that you need to have to actually to be successful in it. So.
What's the biggest hurdle between showing the person the car and signing the dotted line?
Biggest hurdle? I guess,
If it's the most common,
Well, when you have a customer, you take them on a test drive, and like we've talked about earlier, there's a lot of education out there for people. So usually they have a pretty good idea. Hey, I like that color, and I like this model. So then it comes to a point of making it affordable for the customer. The salesperson's job is really to educate them on what they're buying, show them the features and benefits of the vehicle that they decided they landed on, and then from that point it's just acquiring the financing to meet the terms that work for them. Everyone has a different financial situation. Everyone's on most people on a month-to-month budget, so that's usually what's most important to them. But if you take good care of them, you educate them about the vehicle, then the part's really easy. That part's not too hard usually. It's usually when you just throw them in a car, say, hey, take a test drive, built no value in you, no value in the dealership, no value in the vehicle, then you have a customer who says, well, I can sign this paper anywhere. You mean nothing to me. This dealership means nothing. You didn't teach me anything about this car. What can you sell it for?
Right.
So that's the biggest hurdle. But if you do your job right from the beginning, it usually makes that part pretty smooth. So there aren't too many dragged out fights when it comes to the negotiation or anything like that. It's not this day and age. I think it's a little bit
And you're the bottom line right now as far as the negotiation, right?
Yeah. For about 11 months, I was a sales consultant, and then I ended up moving into management. So, the salesperson's job is to take care of the customer, show them the vehicle. My job is to make it affordable for them and, go over the terms. And, I'd be the bottom line, whether the customer walks out or not. So, we make profit on vehicles. I mean, that's our job. We don't make as much as everyone thinks.
You're not there to give them away.
Yeah, I mean, it's people. We don't make thousands and thousands of dollars. I promise you that on every vehicle. It's just sometimes you lose money, sometimes you make a little bit, but it's all. If we don't make any money on you, we're not going to be in business. We're not going to be able to take care of you. So.
And probably service is another income producer.
For the dealership level,
what do you
absolutely.
think? Is it more about selling the cars, or is it more about servicing the cars? You think?
Depending on the service department, they try to strive for about a 50-50 balance.
Yeah.
And obviously depends on what kind of servicing you have at our dealership. Our sales have been up a little bit, so they've been a little bit higher in the service department. But they strive for about a 50-50 balance of sales income as far as in service income.
Yeah, and going back to the sales, it's more, of knowing who your customers are in the area and what kind of offering to have in place for them.
Yeah.
I mean, your lot that you have with the automobiles on it is really a reflection of the market that's around you.
Yes. I mean, I'm sure anybody in Southern Ohio knows that a truck is, one of the most valued pieces of anyone's driveway or possession. So, we obviously stock as many trucks as we can, and and with the hills in Chillicothe and Rio Grande, all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive are always the big sellers at this time of the year. So,
Ending. Okay, we've given a bit of advice for the salesperson. What can you say would be a good piece of advice for the person who wants to come in and buy a car?
I would tell somebody coming in to buy a car is obviously do your research. An educated customer to me is somebody that's prepared to make a buying decision. So do your research. We're not going to be, we're not going to argue with you over what the research says in the market. And honestly, people don't think this, but being respectful and being nice goes a long way. There's a lot of people that. I have that opportunity, whether we can lose a few $100s and help out somebody and get them in a better situation, or if they're mean to us, then
they're not going to get that extra.
Yeah, and you don't think it'd be like that, but it is. So,
yeah, that's true.
Just like getting pulled over by the cops.
That's exactly right. You might as well try to be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Dominic.
Thank you. It was
I think
awesome.
you've got another show to appear for just after this one. So we'll look forward to seeing you on that. Yep. And everyone out there, thanks for watching Strictly Business, and we'll see you next month.